Hi guys, if you've been watching the videos where I've been trying to fly this Sky Hunter 230, you'll know that I've got problems with the controller. It looks like it's actually designed to lock in position on left and right, which seems very unusual. Normally when you want to go left or right, you just want to push it, just touch it a little bit. But this one actually locks in position. So when you think you've just given it a little bit of right rudder, it stays there and spirals in. It's alright if you remember to pull it back again. But the logical thing will be to have a look inside and see if there's anything wrong with the toggle there, whether it should have a spring in the middle to return it. So we'll have a look. Thought there might be a couple of screws in there. At least they're all the same size, that's handy. Oh, some springs have come loose in there when I pulled it up. Ah, that's what's holding it together. Something's holding it up there. Oh, there. That's what was holding it. Well, there we are. What are those bits? Okay, don't know what that bit is, don't know what that bit is, don't know what that bit is, don't know what that bit is. But that does look like that should be a spring return, doesn't it? Ah, right, I see. That bit there looks like that piece. So I would say that's broken. What's the chances of super glue gluing that back together? One way to find out, isn't there? Let's pull the spring off. I think the obvious thing to do would be to drill a little hole right the way through the middle to strengthen it. That top doesn't seem to want to come off. I think that's been glued on after it's been put through the hole. So we're a bit pushed for space. I wonder if polystyrene cement would be any better. Looking at this piece, I think there's a pillar up the middle, but then this circular bit's been pushed over the top and glued in place, which makes it difficult to put that spring in place, because I have to put that over there like that, and then that means that spring's pushing it out of position while I'm trying to get the glue to dry. But there's no way I can put the spring over this piece afterwards. So I might have to do what I said, drill a hole right through the middle first and put something through to strengthen it. What I'm trying to do first is glue it in position with the spring in place but not over here, so there's no tension on the spring. Then what I'll do is try and drill a hole right through the middle and put a strengthener in, and then I'll try and get the spring over the top there. While we're waiting, we can look at the circuit board. 2005-0306 date on it. That's our on-off switch. What button is that? Electrification keystroke. That's what that says. That's that button. That's our left and right, and full power and normal power, I suppose we could call it. Climb and glide, perhaps. That might just clarify it for anybody who thought this was proportional. It is just simply on, or on, or on, or on. There's no variable there. I did just try to get that label off, but it started falling apart. You might be able to see underneath it. There we are. TX2 50114287. I think it's that TX2 that's the important bit. That's the controller chip. Okay, well that's what the receiver looks like. Power in there from the little wall wart, as Americans like to call it. And power out there to charge the batteries, which we don't use because I'm using lipos in this instead of the nickel metal hydrides that were there. Does that say NE555 on it? 555p. Can't quite see with my glasses, but you can probably see in the camera. And that'd be the crystal. Can't quite see what's written on that either, because it's written on that side next to that transistor. just managed to work out what those bits of plastic are. Those ones sit on top of the LEDs there, and that one sits on top of that button there. Push them out through the top. I was beginning to panic because I couldn't see where they went. This is the controls. They just rock backwards and forwards on their pillars there. But I haven't drilled through this one. This is the one I want to strengthen. So I'll leave the glue to dry for a bit longer, then I'll drill a hole right the way through. Next step, I've no idea if I did right, but rather than drill a hole through, which I thought might put too much stress on it, I heated up this needle and pushed that in, and that will have melted a path between that piece and that piece. So I'm hoping that will have strengthened it. We'll find out when we try and use it. I thought using a drill might actually fracture it again, but that's held together well enough for me to get the spring back in place. So I'll put it together and see if it works. All back together. Just turn that off a second. It's not staying on one side anymore, it's clicking back again. So turn it on. Full power. Gliding power. Or level flight, I suppose. It's not quite centering. Oh, that stuck that time, didn't it? Yeah, so it's still sticking a bit. But it is at least trying to come back to the middle. Not a perfect fix. I thought I'd done it. I don't know if that's visible, but yeah, that's failed. Where I tried to glue it, it's come loose again. I guess I will have to drill a hole right the way through then this time. That's annoying. I've drilled a hole through the middle, put a nail through it at the moment. I'll coat that with glue and hope that that'll hold together. I've got the nail through the middle. I've used the polystyrene cement inside, and then I put some super glue on the end there with some baking powder to make some sort of a solid lump. I just have to leave it and see if that will hold it in place. I left it overnight to make sure the glue had dried. I put it all back together and it looks like it's working. It's springing back. So I have to do this gently because the plane's just laying there. Looks like we've fixed it. We won't know until we try flying it and it locks up in mid-flight. But at the moment, that looks like a success.